Okay, so this is the setup so far. I've got the monitor here plugged in and attached to the Raspberry Pi and still running off the old arcade temporary joystick. So let's have a look what we've got. So it's a VGA monitor, it's 19 inch, and the Raspberry Pi only actually outputs HDMI. So what I've had to do is go and purchase a little plug-in here from the Pi Hut, which converts the HDMI signal into VGA, and then you can attach your monitor in there. And because the VGA doesn't carry an audio signal, it's got a little 3.5 jack plug-in, so you can just attach your hi-fi or your speakers or however you're running your sound. And that's pretty much it. That's just the USB for the joystick arcade controls, and that's the power for the Raspberry Pi. So that's pretty much it all set up. So I'll just switch it on, and yeah, I'll show you it booted up. Let's do it. Because this monitor is VGA, it only really goes up to a certain resolution, which is like 640 by 480. So what I've had to do is go into the boot partition of the Retro Pi and edit. There's something called a config.txt file, and that allows you to force a higher resolution to the Retro Pi, to the monitor. So it runs a higher resolution. I've only put it up to 800 by 600, which I know is a bit criminalistic, but anything higher will cause the monitor to flash because it struggles to sync. I mean, I might just need a better VGA cable, but because of the HDMI, the high resolution, it causes monitor blinking, like flashing. So I've lowered the resolution to stop that happening. So I've put it on an 800 by 600 resolution, and it just runs lovely and smooth. So yeah, this is looking good. Let's go into the games, and I'll show you the tests I've been running, just to make sure that there's no overscan and everything fits in the frame nicely. So I've been running Street Fighter 2 and Miss Pac-Man, because one's horizontal, one's vertical. And this is still running the CRT Pi Curve shader filter. And it looks really nice, really authentic, great on this monitor, really nice. So really happy with it. Look at that. I've had to make no adjustments to this whatsoever. It just fits nicely. So I've done no editing to any kind of sizes or frames. It's just gone in lovely like that automatically. So that's great news. You can see where the edges of the border for the curved CRT filter goes to the screen. So it reaches right to the edges of the screen. There's no horrible overscan. It's absolutely perfect. Looks really authentic. I mean, I would think I'm looking at a CRT monitor. I really would. The scan lines are immense. Really good. I mean, the camera's not doing any justice here, but trust me, it looks so good. I mean, I've never been happier with a monitor setup. Much better than any kind of thing I had on the Sega Saturn with an RGB SCART. I mean, this is really good. I'm so happy with it. And the really good thing about this CRT Pi Curve filter, or shader as it's called, is that it's not just a curve around the screen. What you have to understand is the whole image is curved inside the frame. It's not just given a curved like edge border. It's the whole thing. So when the screen scrolls, you can see the curve of the screen and the images and everything. So that's the brilliant thing about that filter. It curves it properly like a CRT, and when there's writing scrolling up the screen, you can see the curve of the writing. It's really, really immense. So that looks really great. Really happy with that. What else I was testing was Miss Pac-Man, because it's a vertical game, and I was really worried about putting vertical games on here like shooters, because I'm not having a Tate setup, but as you can see, the orientation and the full game. I was just worried about it fitting in the screen, and because the whole setup is you're sitting a lot closer to the screen now. This is essentially how the arcade cabinet's going to be. You're going to be essentially this close with the controls. So once you're this close, I don't really have any issues with the size of the screen. It's a 19-inch monitor, but it's up and close to you, so I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I didn't go for like a Tate setup, because this is absolutely suitable, completely suitable. And again, look at this with the curve CRT curve filter. You can see in the game, you can see the curves of. I mean, it's ever so slight, but the whole thing is just. It's like it's a proper curve on a CRT. And with the vertical games, what happens is the scan lines actually they go vertical. Oh, you can't really see them on here. It's not picking it up very well. The scan lines are, vertical scan lines. So it cleverly, finds which orientation game you are and applies the filter accordingly. So Miss Pac-Man is great. The shooters are great. They fit in nicely. There's no issues with the size of the screen. It's the proper original, resolution once the game is running. So I'm kind of blathering on, but I kind of hope you understand what I'm saying. Is really good. Stereo's playing up a bit, but yeah, really good. Plays fantastic. So yeah, I've decided to put a lot more vertical games on here for that reason, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I was a bit worried about that, but it's great days. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup so far. I guess next thing is going to be some Seimitsu buttons, and then the arcade actual control, not the control deck, but the cabinet itself. So yeah, coming along really nicely. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates.